Now, welcome to another edition of News from Naboo with Thor's Lightning Takes. And let's get right to the news.
This is less news. This is more of a discussion. We made a video yesterday, and some people commented on a rumor that's been circulating around a piece of content that could be contained in Andor Season
I love
2.
how gently you're trying to work yourself around this.
To be specific, this is, but not too specific, because YouTube says you can't be too specific with words. Let's say there's a scene in the trailer, there's Bix is crawling away from some Imperial, she turns around and hits him with a wrench. There is a rumor going around that from people who supposedly have spoilers.
And we did mention yesterday that it is out there now. That was kind of the point of the video yesterday, to warn you, like, there could be spoilers out there because there are people who have review copies of the whole season, so...
So the root of it is, there is now an implication that there's a scene in Andor where an Imperial officer tries to have his way with Bix.
Jeez.
I'm
I think
trying
the
to
other
say
word's
it
better than that, but yeah.
Well, I'm skating around it. We have to
Yeah.
find some weird word for it so that we don't
Okay.
get in trouble. But that's the rumor. And the question is, A, do you believe it? Do you think that that's in there? Or that it's implied that it does happen to her? B, is that too far? Is that too much for a show like Andor? Even.
Too much for a show like Andor is an
No.
interesting question.
I think too much for a show like Andor, the answer is no.
Yeah, I think the better question is that too much for Star Wars. I think that's what people... Because do I think it's too much for Andor? Out of context of Star Wars? No. I think Andor is very down to earth, and let's be real about it. In the Star Wars galaxy, does that happen? Probably.
Yeah, probably.
I mean, certainly, absolutely.
There's a shady underworld and underground. I mean, people are sold as there's slavery in the universe. You don't think that happens? Jabba dressed up Leia very specifically. He, licked her face.
No, he didn't. No, that didn't. Okay. It was really... I didn't realize how weird it was when I was a kid. I don't think I realized even as an adult until I, tried to step back.
He's having them, dance for him.
Yeah.
I think there's even a little... a boob slip.
There is, yeah.
From Ula in the original version.
Yeah.
So let's not sugarcoat things.
Let's not talk about
Jabba
that.
had some very particular tastes. I mean, Andor Season 1 had obviously implied relations between Tim and Bix.
Well, sure. I mean, so does Attack of the Clones into Revenge of the Sith when Padme is pregnant.
Wait, how did she get pregnant? Oh
my
goodness.
I think the space stork came.
And implied violence isn't missing from Star Wars. Even Anakin took his saber to a bunch of Tuskens and a bunch of children.
Well, yeah, I mean,
and
it's
both the same time and separately.
I understand that having your way with somebody forcefully is bad. I mean, I shouldn't have to say that.
No, it's obviously bad.
Though, is that any worse than slaughtering a room full of children? I mean, they're different, yet if we're talking about just violations and terrible things you can do, I don't know.
We're not going to put them on a scale.
No, I'm not trying to
horrible things that have happened.
No, I'm not trying to... That's the problem. I don't know, because one is really bad in a certain way, and the other is you're murdering somebody and you're murdering children. They're both extremely terrible things, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
so we're not going to compare those, because those are apples and oranges of bad.
No, you're missing what I'm saying. I'm not trying to compare them. I'm simply saying that they are both in the realm of horrible, horrible things, and we've already had one in Star Wars. Now, the other one is a little different because it's... I don't even know how to say it without being able to use certain terms. But it's bad in a different way, but still extremely bad.
Well, remember how people got very riled up about The Force Awakens saying that Kylo Ren violated Rey's mind?
Yes, and that was, he mind blanked her.
That's, I put things in better terms than you do.
Well, it's YouTube. YouTube will demonetize us if we say bad words too much, so.
Yes. So don't put them in the comments either.
And
you're going to get...
potentially strike you down,
Well, the hammer will come for you.
Yeah, they don't like that, so we try to avoid it.
But let's be real. Season 1 of Andor, we got the implication that Cinta killed a family and a child.
I don't know that I would say implication, because I think they want you to not even think about that. It's not like we have a scene of her walking out of that room, all of a sudden she's outside. So they kind of skip over that instead of even trying to address it. Mm-hmm. But if you think about it, it's quite possible that she did murder them because she doesn't want them to say, hey, I saw their faces.
If they do this scene, if it's anything like from what we see in the trailer when she bashes the guy who's reaching for her when she's on the ground or whatever.
Well, we're taking that snippet out of context. I mean, there's nothing to say that he's trying to do that as much as he's just trying to subdue her because she's getting away or whatever. I'm not defending or anything that they would include it. I'm just saying we don't know that that's what's happening there. Mm-hmm. And if it is, I don't know. Because Andor's
an adult show.
Andor is definitely an adult show, but Star Wars has that label around it of we are for all ages, and if you put that in a Star Wars show, well, you don't really consider that all ages anymore, though Andor
Yeah.
already isn't really all ages, is it?
I mean, for one, I think they'd have to change the rating of the show. It would have to be an MA if they're going to even imply that, wouldn't they?
I don't know about just implied. I mean,
I don't know.
there's been other shows. I mean, there's shows on normal television that deal with this subject, like Law and Orders, and all that kind of stuff will deal with this. It's not exactly like the fact that it exists is something that needs to be MA and
Kind of does feel a little weird that it's Star Wars and that might be in there. But this isn't traditional Star Wars. This isn't the family show. And I don't think it's really in there.
I don't think it's going to be in there.
Think of the first trailer they put out with that happy-go-lucky rebellion music.
Yeah.
Critical acclaim. Everyone watch it. Here's the trailer for the normies. You think they're going to put the normies, get the normies in on watching this, who wouldn't normally watch Star Wars, and they go, you know what we should do, guys? Let's put this in there. You don't think that might jar a few people, or do you think that that's going to enhance the show?
It might be the opposite. Again, we've talked a lot about the Game of Thrones effect, and Game of Thrones certainly had
I think Game of Thrones went too far with that.
Well, I don't disagree. I was fine with Game of Thrones not having any of that, but I understand the show is trying to be as realistic as possible.
It was just going for brutality at one point.
At some points, yeah. At some point, it goes too far. I'm simply saying a reality of that world of Westeros is that, bad things happen. That's kind of the point of the show. Life is unpredictable. There are terrible, terrible people that do terrible things. And I think that holds true for Star Wars as well. I mean, obviously it does. We have Darth Vaders and Palpatines, but they've always been evil in a different way. Mm-hmm. Not in that way. We've never, other than Jabba, who, yes, done some.
We can't forget Jabba.
We can't forget Jabba.
I mean, there were implications about what Jabba was going to do with him and his goons.
Yeah, but certainly that happens in the Star Wars galaxy too, but we just don't tend to address it. We tend to pretend it doesn't, or we just don't talk about it at all. And maybe that's for the best. I don't know. Maybe that just doesn't need to go there because we know it's going to happen. We know bad things happen. Mm-hmm. I don't know. It's a tricky thing because, again, I think in Andor, it's fine. I think in Star Wars, I understand why people would be, whoa, this is too much. And I don't think Disney is going to allow it. I really don't.
We know that this show is tackling a lot more harder-hitting type issues.
Yeah.
I mean, we know the Gorman massacre is coming.
Yeah, we know there's going to be a slaughtering of people.
In the EU, they landed ships on top of people.
Well, I mean, even go back to the original trilogy. Go back to A New Hope. We had Planet. We blew up millions of people on Alderaan. We blew up a Death Star. We killed countless people.
But that doesn't feel as physically intimate.
Exactly. There it is. That's the word I was looking for.
That is the word. That is
100%
what it is. It's the intimacy. That it's more of a personal affront.
Yes.
Yes.
And there's something about that is obviously, and I agree, terrible, terrible, terrible. But we also have murder. We also have children being killed. We have senseless violence. We have planets being blown up. We have all kinds of things in there that are like, well, again, they're in that same category of the most atrocious things you can do.
But this show is focused on being a real feel.
This one has that personal, intimate aspect to it.
I mean, it's going to sound weird, one of my favorite book series, and not everyone agrees, we have conversations in our Discord about how much people like or dislike this book series, the Sword of Truth series by Terry Goodkind.
Yeah, I read the first book.
Yes. There is some crazy stuff that happens in those books.
Even in the first one, yeah.
Yeah, there's involving that topic.
Yeah.
And it's used as a tool. It is not used to justify or make anything good.
Well, no.
Andor's going to do the same thing. They're going if they use it. I think Tony Gilroy is a more skilled writer.
Well, sure.
And he's going to use it positively. And I know that sounds weird.
No, I know what
but
you're
he's going to use it. He's just trying to justify or not justify. He's just trying.
Yeah, you're using the wrong words here.
He's just trying to showcase the absolute evil.
Yes.
And really make you understand the evils in the darkness of the Empire. That's more than just bumbling stormtroopers who can't hit anything. They can't hit the side of a barn.
Just because one person in the Empire would do that, and I'm not saying it would be only one, but I mean, that doesn't necessarily condemn the Empire. The Empire is bad because it is, in itself,
evil and corruption they're showing.
But one person doing a bad thing does not represent an entire group of people either.
I guess I kind of don't have a problem if they did put that in there.
It depends on how it's done. As an implication,
I think Tony Gilroy has the skill to do it properly.
Well, yeah, because he's not going to glorify it or justify it or anything of the sort.
If anything, it's going to be possibly that scene, and as I would describe it as maybe he's like, well, I'll teach you a lesson or
maybe
something, and maybe an implication that grabs at a specific part of his clothing or something.
There. Sure.
And she fights back and she'll kill him.
Yeah.
And win. And it's showing, yes, look at this absolute evil scumbag, and he got what he deserved. Then I don't think they're going to go any farther than that because it's still Star Wars, and it's it still needs to not go that far.
I mean, let's not forget about what Rick McCallum said recently. We did that video about Star Wars Underworld where he said, like, oh, if we had done that show, Disney wouldn't even want this because we were going to make it dirty and violent and sexy and gritty and all these things.
It was going to be
it's
too much, so...
Yeah, how far were they going to go?
Yeah.
So he said it was going to be adult. And maybe, again, I certainly understand people out there who are absolutely against the idea of this being in Star Wars. I get that. I'm kind of in that category. Yet at the same time...
I feel if anyone can pull it off, it's going to be Andor and Tony Gilroy.
It's not even that. At the same time, I think this is a different type of show. I don't know that this is your traditional, family-friendly, bring the kids out and let's sit down around the TV. So we didn't put that in
Skeleton Crew.
No, exactly. In Skeleton Crew, that would have been like, what the hell are you doing? In this, it's like, okay, I can get it, but just don't go too far with it. We don't need too far with it.
Right, and I think that Tony Gilroy knows where that line is. He's an intelligent person.
I think Disney would
enforce
that
Disney
line as well.
Wouldn't be like, what did you just do?
Yeah.
They're probably okay with whatever he wrote, and that it's fine. That it's not somebody pushing for an agenda or anything.
Well, no,
I think we're good.
You're not going to be justifying it. I mean, it's going to be portrayed as being horrific. I mean, let's be real. It's not going to be like, oh, she deserved it. And like, no, it's going to be, the guy's going to be killed. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, I think we're going to be done with this topic. And
yeah,
now
it's a weird topic.
It's a weird topic. People were asking us about this.
It's all supposition.
Yeah,
you could say.
Yeah, it could be nothing. It might not even happen. I don't know. But a lot of people have been kind of pestering us, especially after yesterday's video. Like, hey, you didn't talk about the thing.
Well, because
like, what's the thing?
For one, we aren't talking about spoilers too.
Yes.
We don't want to ruin the show for anybody, not or for ourselves.
No. But anyway, that's it. That's all we got for you this time. Now it is your turn. Take to the comments below. Tell us what you think about this. How far is Star Wars?
It'll probably be a really good Discord discussion on Thursday night.
We'll talk about it Thursday night.
I'm sure we'll talk about it, and we're allowed to use adult words in Discord.
Yes, we will. We will give it a full discussion. I think that's going to be a topic for tonight.
We're writing it down
on voice chat. Yeah.
Yes, we're writing it down for Discord tonight.
Yeah, because we can use the real words. We're all adults in there, I think. I don't know. Sometimes we get some youngsters.
They're still adults.
Well, no, actually,
18, 19.
No, we have a youngster in there.
You're right, but he's not like a youngster.
But he's young.
But he's not young.
I forget just how old he is. We might have to ask him to step out.
Well, okay. We'll have to. I think
we'll put a warning in there, like, hey, if you're, I don't know, why are we talking about this? We'll figure it out.
Yeah, you got weird again.
I didn't get weird. This is a weird topic for Star Wars. I never thought I'd be making a video talking about this in Star Wars, yet here we are.
And yet Jabba was planning it all along.
Jabba was a horrible. I mean, he did. I mean, I made a video about that recently because somebody asked me about Slave Leia. Is it wrong? And I'm like, well, it tells you how bad Jabba is. Like, it sold him as being a vile, terrible gangster.
There's a reason Ula was fighting so hard to escape.
Hell yeah. Like, he's a terrible dude. And this stuff does happen in the Star Wars galaxy. Let's be real.
They've always showed us slavers. Hey, don't forget when they were selling Ahsoka as one.
They dressed her up.
They dressed her up pretty nice, too.
Yeah.
You don't think that was a possibility?
Wow.
I'm just putting it out there. It's always been there.
Wow,
we just don't think about it.
Now I can't handle that.
But you know what I'm saying? It's always been there.
It has, and it
always will be. We just don't talk about it because it didn't happen.
Yes.
That we could see on screen.
All right. That's all we got for you this time. Thanks for watching.